Hello, hello, and welcome, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me in today's topic, which is the law of polarity. So let's begin. Well, if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and show your support. I would love to hear your thoughts on this conversation. Anything you have to say, please leave a comment and subscribe down below to see more content like this. All right, now I'm ready. So the law of polarity. What is the law of polarity? To me, the law of polarity decrees that everything has an opposite. You cannot have good without the bad. You cannot have light without dark. You cannot have feminine without the masculine. And that is the law of polarity. Everything has an opposite. And because of the two contrasting items, it makes that thing so beautiful. In a way, like everything has its place. And yeah, that's the best way that I can describe the law of polarity. I have a sheet here I just want to look at. So yeah, this is just my little 2 cents on the law of polarity, which is one of the natural laws of the universe. Everything has an opposite: hot, cold, up, down, good, bad. Constantly look for the good in people and situations. When you find it, tell the person. People love compliments, and the positive idea in your mind makes you feel good. Remember, good idea, good vibration. That is an aspect on the, I guess, polarity scale. So, this is a very interesting conversation to me, and I think it's very useful. So, going into polarity, we have the energies of masculine and feminine. So, what are these principles? Basically, from my understanding and my personal viewpoint, you can believe whatever you want to believe. Um, I'm just letting you know, and I may not be right. So, feel free to add something to the conversation. But in my opinion, the masculine energy is more about doing, and the feminine energy is more about being. And masculine or masculinity, in my opinion, is usually associated with like work, um, in a way, like a life of burden, always doing, taking action. Um, yeah, it's a very active, I think, energy. Whereas the feminine principle and polarity is more about being, it's more about feeling. It's if the masculine is more outward action, the feminine is more about inward, I would say, stillness. Um, so they contrast. They're just different. And that is natural and it's beautiful and it's perfect the way that it is. So yeah, that to me is what feminine energy is. Um, it's beautiful. Both of them really are beautiful. And there are different ways that we see feminine and masculine energy in our society, and people identify and dress different ways. They use different pronouns. So yeah, this is a really cool topic. I really like talking about this. Again, feel free to join in the conversation if you have anything to add. So masculine and feminine, everyone has these energies in them, but it may not be 50-50. Like I may not have 50% masculine and 50% feminine. I could have 80% feminine and 20% masculine. But the point is that we all have these energies. Um, yeah, what's it called? So going back to people kind of identifying as different things, this is something that I've seen recently, and I think everyone has kind of like seen recently. In 2000, we are starting with identifying what our pronouns are instead of assuming what someone else's pronouns may be. So I identify as a she, her, but you can also call me they, them. I really don't mind. I really don't like being called bro. I am not your bro. I hate that word. I don't like it. You can call your bros, but please don't call me bro. I am not your bro. So everyone is different. That's really the point Everyone identifies differently, everyone chooses to present themselves differently. But essentially, the energy is still the same. Yes, masculine and feminine energy. These two, when combined, are super duper powerful and very creative, and they can create life. Yes. So I'm thinking like masculinity is mostly associated with males, people who have penises, I guess. I don't know the correct term if I'm saying it properly, but this is how I'm getting my point across right now. Uh, Feminine people are usually associated with vaginas. Um, and this is really interesting because, like I've mentioned, the masculine energy is more associated with doing. And I feel like, for the most part, at least in my experience, um, maybe this is TMI, but I think the masculine, when discussing intercourse, is the masculine energy is doing a lot of the work. It's probably penetrating. The feminine is probably being penetrated. Um, I love, we can go into the human body in a different conversation. It's really powerful and it's really interesting in my mind. Um, yeah, so we have polarity, gender, uh, you know, different identities and energies that we're working with. And all of these things are really just different manifestations of the one, which is God. So we see how I present myself right here, right now, is just one interpretation of my divine feminine energy. And I do believe that there are things such as divine feminine and divine masculine, and let me think of a better word. Dense masculine and dense feminine energy, I would say. So the divine is more high end divinity, it is more connected to source, wholeness, and love, harmony. Those are the main principles. Dense is more separation, um, contrast, polarity, 3D, reality, problems, and stuff like that. That's what I would consider dense versus divine. And I think that we can see these energies within people. Everyone has masculine and feminine, and everyone has a divine part and divine parts of them and dense parts of them, which is also like their shadow self, if you want to use different terms for it. Yes. So gender is really cool. This whole thing is really a scale. Like I would say you can be anywhere on the scale at any given time. What I really like are androgynous people. They are really cool, in my opinion. People where you can't necessarily pinpoint their gender, their genitalia, because they are just a beautiful person and like they just perfectly embody both the divine masculine and the divine feminine in a balanced way that looks really good. Um, in a way, I would say Ruby Rose is a really good representation of someone who's androgynous, in my opinion. This is the only name that I really know um, that would kind of fall under the category, but I'm sure there are countless, countless models out there who are really incredible and well known for androgyny and being who they are. Um, and it's really beautiful. It's really cool. I like seeing people who feel so comfortable with both of their masculine and their feminine and can interpret that and portray that in a really unique way. It's really fascinating to me. So, why do I bring this up? This is fluid, just like our sexuality. Our gender identity can be fluid. What are we feeling in the moment? How do I choose to show up? How do I choose to present myself? How do I feel in this moment? Is very important. And I think that this era that we are in right now, in 2022, a lot of people are becoming a lot more accepting and comfortable with exploring different avenues. Everyone has divine masculine and divine feminine, also dense masculine and dense feminine. But thing is that it's okay to explore these different facets of yourself, these different areas, identities, um, ways that you want to express yourself, ways that you want to show up in the world. It's natural to be mask presenting one day and then maybe feminine presenting another day. Um, I love my long nails. They feel to me very feminine, but it's okay if I don't have long nails. I can still feel feminine without my long nails. I can feel feminine with long nails and without. I can feel masculine without long nails. All right, so how you choose to dress can help relay this. So, literally, your out external your clothing, I would say, clothing can really help you be a tool that you use to be more mask or feminine. Um, I think that in relationships, having a dominant masculine energy and having a dominant feminine energy really creates a beautiful dynamic, a powerful polarity within the relationship that is really important. And I think that honestly, you can disagree, but in my opinion, I think that gender roles are kind of good. I do. I think that they have been useful for many years for our ancestors and the people who have come before us. I think that they pretty much had it down to a science and they knew what they were doing. And it's now recently where we are getting a little confused and not knowing. So, in my opinion, I think the woman should always just be. I think the woman or the feminine energy is responsible for nourishment and nurturing and caring and tending. Um, all of these kind of like to me, it's like a vibe. Like it's really like the energy of whatever. Like they are responsible for that, whereas the masculine, in my opinion, is more responsible for the physical for working and doing what needs to get done and running errands. I don't know, like all of these things. I feel like to me, in my head, they are completely different, and you need one, and the other can complement it beautifully. So, in relationships, having a dominant masculine partner and a dominant feminine partner is very important, but they don't have to always be like, let's say I am the dominant feminine with a man in a relationship with a man. That man can be dominantly masculine all the time, but he does not have to be. He can also touch into or tap into his feminine side and when that is needed, and I can tap into my masculine side when that is needed. In reality, we both need these energies to exist in life. We need a masculine energy to get things done. I'm currently in my masculine energy by creating this video. And if you're watching this video, then you are in your feminine energy being and observing me. So I honestly think that's how it makes sense in my head. Um, but yeah. Yes. What else? It's a really intriguing concepts. This is still something that I'm learning about more, and I apply this to my relationships. Understanding the law of polarity, understanding masculine and feminine energies when dealing with people is really important. Knowing how they operate and how I can navigate with them to work at something that is, I want to say, that is harmonious. Really, that's the main goal for me, at least. You can express yourself. You should be able to express yourself any way that you desire. And I really think that now it's so cool that we can really explore the different sides of ourselves. Like it's okay that if you have a vagina, you want to wear this that would typically be considered men's clothes, and that is just completely okay to me. I think that you should be able to express yourself. You should explore what you would look like, how you feel, and I think that it's normal to change. I don't think that you should stay constant. I don't think you should always look the same. Um, I think life is seriously about evolution and polarity is a spectrum, gender identity is a spectrum, I think sexuality is a spectrum. All of these things are very fluid. And when you grasp this and accept it for what it is,